Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with WealthyTiffany.com, and in today's video we're going to be talking about HSAs, health savings accounts. And we're going to talk about, number one, what is an HSA? Number two, how does an HSA work? Number three, who can have an HSA and should you have an HSA? And then number four is all of the benefits and advantages of having a health savings account, including the triple tax advantage, which a lot of people talk about, and that's why they have an HSA. And then last but not least, we are going to talk about the fifth item, which is where to set up an HSA and where I have my free HSA. So let's dive right in and talk about health savings accounts. So number one, what is an HSA? What is a health savings account? It's essentially an account that you can set up on your own, or your employer may offer one to you. And you can basically have an easy way to pay for medical expenses through this account, and it also reduces your taxable income. And keep in mind, this is different from a flex spending account, an FSA. We're not covering that today. This is only HSA, health savings account. All right, and then the second point, how does an HSA work exactly? The simple version is that you set up your health savings account, you put money in there before paying taxes on that money, and then you can pay for qualified medical expenses with the money that's in there. You can either use usually a debit card that the HSA provider will give to you, or you can get reimbursed later for the amount that you spent on a credit card that you may have used. And we will get into the qualified expenses a little later in the video, so stay tuned for that. And there is a limit on how much you can contribute to an HSA. For 2020, the maximum you can contribute actually went up by $50 for individuals. So now you can contribute $3,550 per year to your HSA, or for families, they increased it $100 in 2020. So now you can contribute $7,100 to your HSA. And just in case you are wondering, these contribution amounts include anything that your employer may put into your HSA for you. So if you have an employer that's super nice and puts money into your HSA for you, you have to stay at these contribution limits, including that amount they put in there. So if they put in $7,000 for your family HSA, then you can contribute $100 this year into your HSA. But if you set up the account on your own, then of course you can contribute that maximum amount yourself. And just as a little bonus, if you are over age 55, then they give you an extra $1,000 that you can contribute per year to kind of help you catch up on your HSA account. The third point that I want to cover is who can have an HSA and should you have an HSA. Those who have a high deductible health plan can set up an HSA. And this could be considered a downside to getting an HSA, but really if you don't have that high of medical expenses, then an HSA is a great way to go. Unless you or a family member has a really expensive medical condition, or you have access to a low-cost health plan, I do think having a high deductible health plan with an HSA can be a really good route for those with low expenses, because you can pay for those expenses, those medical expenses, out of pocket, or even use your emergency fund if it's a really high expense. And we're going to talk about other ways to utilize this HSA. And the qualifying high deductible health plan to get an HSA, it needs to have a minimum deductible of $1,400 for individuals or $2,800 for families. And you do want to make sure to check when you are signing up for this health plan that it does say HSA qualified. I found mine on the healthcare.gov website, and it just said right in the title the certain plan name, and then right next to it, I think it was in parentheses, that said HSA qualified. So you want to make sure that is on there, because some plans that have a high deductible may not be HSA qualified. So make sure to check for that. Now we're going to get into the really good stuff, all of the benefits and advantages of having a health savings account. And if you already know some of the benefits of having an HSA, then put them in the comments below. I want to know if you know before I tell you all of them. All right, the first benefit that I want to talk about for having an HSA is that you can roll over all of that money you deposited into your HSA every year, and you never actually have to take the money out. You could even leave this account to someone else, and they could have this money after you pass away if you wanted to do that. It is an option. So this is really different from an FSA, the flex spending account, in the fact that FSA, you lose your money every year if you don't use it, but with an HSA, it's not the case. You can continue to roll that money over, which means it can really grow over time. And another benefit of having an HSA is you don't have to contribute that full amount within the same year. You could contribute the rest of the amount in the following year by the tax day. So let's just say, for example, you had a year that you were pretty tight on money and you didn't contribute the full amount to your HSA by December 31st, but you got a big bonus in January from your work and you wanted to finish contributing to your HSA, then you could totally do that. And you just have to make sure that you put in that amount by tax day, which is April 15th this year. And you just designate that you want to contribute that for 2019 instead of for 2020. And you can just select that option. It's very easy to do that in your HSA. But that is another benefit. So in case you do have a year that you're struggling a little bit, you do have the option to contribute that full amount until the tax day of the following year. Another great benefit is that you don't have to have any earned income to contribute to an HSA, which is unlike an IRA or a Roth IRA. So for example, if you have $10,000 in your savings account and you want to take a year off from work and go travel abroad, you can still contribute your full amount to your HSA for that year that you traveled, even though you didn't have any earned income. And kind of on the flip side of that, there's actually no income limit for contributing to an HSA. So if you are making $1 million a year because you're a rock star, then you can still contribute to your HSA. And it is still deductible on your taxes. One more benefit that I want to talk about is that you can choose an HSA provider that offers you an investment account with your HSA. So you can actually be investing this money into the stock market while it's inside of your HSA, which is fantastic. So your money is not just sitting there waiting for you to take it out. It's actually working for you because you can invest that money in the stock market. So this actually leads us right into the triple tax advantage of the HSA. And if you're excited to hear about this triple tax advantage, then hit the like button and let me know you're excited to hear it. The first part of the triple tax advantage is that you get to contribute your money pre-tax dollars. So you are not paying taxes on this money before you contribute to your HSA. You can do it as an automatic payroll deduction, or if you are doing it on your own, if you're self-employed, then you will get a form from the HSA provider stating how much you contributed so that you can file that when you are filing your taxes and have a decrease on your taxable income. So that's the first part, is that you are contributing this money pre-tax. The second part is that this money is growing tax-free in your HSA. Hopefully you have this money invested inside of your HSA so you can watch it continue to grow over time, and it's going to grow tax-free. So if you have money in there that's invested in stocks that pay a dividend or funds that pay a dividend, those dividends are going to be tax-free for you. So that is the second part of the triple tax advantage, is that your money is growing tax-free. Now, the third part of the triple tax advantage of the HSA is that when you take your money out for a qualified medical expense, you take it out tax-free. You're not paying taxes on this money that you're taking out when you take it out for a qualified medical expense. That is the third part of the triple tax advantage of the HSA. And when you are withdrawing this money for the qualified medical expenses, you just want to make sure that you're keeping track of your medical expenses. So you want to keep a copy of your receipt for each medical expense. And I'm going to share a little secret with you later about how to make this really, really easy so you're not having a whole box of receipts. Now, if you are thinking there's not a lot of expenses, medical expenses that are going to be qualified medical expenses, I think you may be wrong. There are a lot of expenses that will work for an HSA. For example, all of your doctor's bills, of course, if that's going to the dentist or the eye doctor or just a regular doctor, and it's all of your prescribed medications. And, besides all of those normal things, there's also LASIK. If you wanted to get LASIK, I kind of want to get LASIK. And if you wear contacts, that is a qualified medical expense, and your contact solution, and even reading glasses. And there's even a car rental expense that could be written off. So there's a whole list of expenses, and you can go to this website and check them all out because there's a ton of them. But here's the thing with this, with withdrawing your money, you actually really want to leverage your HSA account. And the way that you do this is you can keep all of these expenses, medical expenses, and just pay for them out of your own pocket. And that way your money is growing inside of your HSA over time. Then when you need some money or you're ready for some extra money, you can turn in all of those receipts and get all of that money out. So you can do that all at once if you wanted to, or you can do it over time. It really depends on you, but you really want to leverage this account. So if it is possible for you to pay for those medical expenses up front out of pocket and just let your HSA continue to grow over time, then this is a really good way to have your money work for you. And that's the third part of the triple tax advantage, is by withdrawing that money for a qualified medical expense, you're not paying any taxes on it. Super phenomenal. So you put it in pre-tax, you let it grow tax-free, you pull it out tax-free, triple tax advantage. If you are thinking about taking advantage of this triple tax advantage, then put in the comments below triple tax advantage, because I want to know. So let's move to another benefit of the HSA. When you are 65 or older, you can actually withdraw this money and you don't have to use it for qualified medical expenses anymore. They would just be taxed at your ordinary income tax rate, and there's no penalty for withdrawing that money. So if you haven't had a lot of qualified medical expenses and you have a ton of money still in your HSA, then you can start using that money for something else and just pay the taxes on it. And yet another benefit of the health savings account is when you are age 65 and you have Medicare, you can actually pay for premiums with your HSA. And those can actually be around $400 per month. That was just an average that I had found, so could be more, could be less, but that's a significant amount that you can be using out of your HSA. Those are the main benefits and advantages of having an HSA, a health savings account. And there's just a couple things to note with an HSA. If you do need to withdraw your money before age 65, you can. You just need to pay taxes on that money plus a 20% penalty. So keep that in mind. It's higher with an HSA at 20% penalty than it is with a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Those are both at 10%. So if you needed to withdraw money, you probably want to take it from one of those first before taking it from your HSA, but you still can take it. And having a high deductible health plan, usually hospitals or other providers are kind of willing to work with you on reducing your bill because you're paying a lot out of pocket. So that's kind of just another thing to think about. And you still have an out-of-pocket maximum with your high deductible health plan. So that would be the maximum that you would have to pay each year in case something did go wrong. There's still that built-in maximum. Okay, let's move to the last point, point number 5, and that is, where should you set up your HSA and where do I have mine? I would honestly look for an HSA provider that is completely free, because there are two that I know of. One is Lively and the other is Fidelity. And I would also make sure that they have a place for you to invest your money in the stock market. I would not set up an HSA that does not have a way to invest your money, especially if you're looking to really leverage your HSA and have your money working for you so that you can stop working for the money. I personally have my health savings account with Lively, and they have been great so far. I haven't had any problems with them. And they do have a way to invest your money in the stock market while it's inside of your HSA. They use TD Ameritrade to do that. You get $0 commissions on stocks or ETFs. That's just another benefit of using them. And while your money is sitting in cash in the HSA, they do offer an interest rate. So that is nice. You can earn a little bit of money by just leaving it in your HSA. But that option to invest your HSA money is really key because we want to leverage this health savings account as much as possible. Another thing that I love about using Lively is that they have an option for you to upload your receipts. And I said I would talk about this later. So you don't have to keep a whole shoebox of receipts. You can actually upload a copy of that receipt into Lively directly, and they just have you key in the amount, and you can write in there any notes that you want to, so you can remember what it is you purchased in case the receipt isn't clear. But that way you can keep track of all of your medical expenses right in your account, and it keeps a running total of how much money you have not been reimbursed for yet. And if you wanted to get reimbursed for that money, of course you can do that as well. They also have a debit card that comes with your HSA account, so you can just swipe the debit card if you wanted to go ahead and use your HSA to pay for your medical expenses right up front. There are absolutely no hidden fees whatsoever, and they are FDIC insured, so your money is protected. And their account is very simple to set up. If you guys want a step-by-step tutorial, I have another video which I will link to, and you can check out the step-by-step tutorial on setting up a Lively HSA account. And I have not used Fidelity. I have heard good things about them. I do know that Lively does not have a fee to close the account if you wanted to switch over your HSA at some point. And I do know Fidelity, I think, charges a $25 fee to close the account. So there is that, but still, if you plan on just keeping the account, then not a big deal. And if you guys would like to set up an account with Lively, I do have a referral link below in the description, and you can use that link to set up your account. No pressure. You don't have to use the link if you don't want to, but I will leave it there in case you do. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful and you have a better understanding on what an HSA is and how to leverage your money with an HSA. So if you did find this video helpful, please hit the like button and share it with someone else who is curious about a health savings account. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can get this content out to more people. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.